My good man, in this ice sky, a reincarnated as general of the demon lord, who is stronger than him, fell in love with the priestess of the heroes group. What craziness is this, my good man? And I'll tell you that it's quite tasty to watch. So if you'd like to stay until the end, and let's go to the video. The heroes group arrives at the demon king's castle, and everyone is determined to defeat him. The black mage says that she studied a lot the abilities of the demon king and his lackeys, and is sure that Yuga, the hero, can win. Yuga declares that everyone will manage, and they prepare to face the lackeys. They advance and reach the first great obstacle. Are reincarnated as general of the demon lord, who is aware that the humans are there to send his king to F. But it is a pity because they will have to defeat him to reach this, and the black mage uses fire magic that does nothing against the general Yuki because it is very weak. The power of the heroes group does not seem like anything special, and the swordsman comes to try his luck, but is pushed far away. Then the white mage Cecilia gives support to the hero Yuga, who uses his Excalibur, but is stopped by the endless darkness of Yoki, and the whole group takes damage and is defeated. Yoki is using magic to heal them, and when he puts his eyes on Cecilia, he falls in love at first sight. This is going to go bad, and she is totally his type. His subordinates appear and give Yoki a scare, who told him to stay hidden, but as the fight ended, they came out. They find it strange that he stays standing looking at the humans. He even looked like a pervert. The demons want to send them to F right away, but Yoki says to throw them in the nearest human village that is at the end of the road. They think this is a drag, and Yoki will get scolded again for not killing the humans. Yoki gets sad to say goodbye to his angel. Then a month passes, and one of the generals says that the heroes group does not give up and always comes back to challenge Yoki, and this happened 13 times. Zakir, all smiling, says that if they do not defeat someone like Yoki, there's no way they can scare anyone. That said, the Demon King does not understand why Yoki does not kill them at once, and this is because they are so insignificant that they do not even deserve death. The Lord says that he will give the order for Yoki's subordinates to finish off the humans, but Yoki knows that they have no chance against these humans and also does not want anything to happen with his beloved. So he says that he will take care of the message. Going away, Yoki thinks that he can no longer spare the life of the heroes group because their life will be in danger this way. He is so strong that it is not even fun, and the heroes group does have power to finish off the Demon King. And while the demons continue advancing, the world will be dominated by the Demon King at once. Yoki will give away next time. The heroes arrive for another round, and Yuga and Raven make a combined attack that Yoki blocks easily and sends them flying to the wall with darkness magic. Cecilia goes to heal them, and Makaina continues the attack, but this lousy fire magic does nothing, even if it catches him by surprise. Yoki appreciates the beauty of his beloved and laughs like a crazy person, incorporating the role of villain, saying that the humans will never get past him to begin with. Cecilia buffs Yuga, who attacks with his sacred sword Excalibur, which seems to do something, but in reality it was a very trash attack. He is not capable of defeating Yoki. But the heroes never give up and have to defeat the Demon King. Then Yoki says that if they leave the priestess behind, the three can advance. Yuga does not accept leaving a companion behind, but Makaina, cunning, says that they must accept the proposal. However, Yuga refuses, but Makaina says that if the demon wanted, they would have died in the first attempt, so they need to accept the offer. But Yuga says that he didn't do it.
So shut up, woman.
Makaina says that it is worth more to save the world than a priestess. Then Cecilia says to leave her behind and follow, because she will be fine. Yuga says that he will defeat the Demon King and come back to save her. Now with Yoki alone with her, Cecilia wants to know why he wanted her there. The boy is all embarrassed to talk about it. Cecilia may not have power to defeat him, but she will fight until the end against evil. She uses Sacred Laser, which Yoki dodges easily, and then he introduces himself. But it makes no sense for enemies to do that. Yoki says that he will not do any harm to Cecilia. If not, he would have done it in their first meeting. She wants to know what the general wants, and Yoki declares his love and asks her to date him. Cecilia is in shock and refuses respectfully. Now Yoki wants to go to base. All depressive, and Cecilia thinks this is a trick and is about to attack, but does not understand why the bad creature does not react. And Yoki says that nothing else is worth it and does not care about going to F. And he is speaking very seriously. Even if he lives, he can only stay in this boring castle. He can only leave if it is to destroy human cities and villages and do evil. But Yoki does not desire this. However, Cecilia does not believe that any demon has feelings like that, because the Demon King wants to destroy and rule humanity. Yoki then reveals that he is a human from another world that reincarnated as a general of the Demon Lord. Cecilia does not understand this, and Yoki simplifies, saying that he is human on the inside. Then she wants to know why he obeys the Demon King. Yoki could defeat him if he wanted, but by doing that he would become the next Demon King, and this is something that Yoki does not desire. Then there came a moment that he decided to give up everything and hand it over to God. But then Cecilia appears, his love, that gave light to his life again. He even drew her from being so in love that he is. That is why nothing else matters to Yoki. However, Cecilia says the opposite. With his power, Yoki can help many people, and it is not too late. So Cecilia asks for Yoki to come with her to the outside world. With that, the heroes return to the kingdom of Clarinet after defeating the Demon King. The king gives all his graces and declares in his name a 3-day holiday in celebration of this historic moment. A moment of peace without equal, and all the people praise and glorify. Yoki looks at everything from far away in the forest and soon will go to the capital where Cecilia lives. Now he will take off the horn to pass as a human. The heroes go on the carnival car with a chocobo, taking them and receiving the praises of the whole kingdom. Makina, all stuck to Yuga, says that they finally managed, but for Yuga the best is that they were able to save the world and that it was all thanks to Cecilia. Makina seems to have a little envy of her. Yoki arrives at the Adventurers Guild, all changed, wanting to enter, and the receptionist is lazy to attend, but takes the form for Yoki so he can register in the guild and has to agree with the terms that if he goes to F because of a mission, the guild will not bear any responsibility. Yoki signs calmly. After all the guy is broken, there's no way to die easily. The receptionist hands him the rank F card, and through missions and requests, he goes rising until reaching rank S. However, it takes some time for a person to leave rank F to E, around 1 month. The receptionist says that it is good for Yoki not to lose this card, especially in these 3 days that there is a holiday because of the Heroes Festival and all the guild employees went to celebrate. The guy is called Clayman and wishes good luck to Yoki. The demon general does a job and earns well for the first day of service. He thinks that as he advances in rank and manages to have a calm life, he will declare himself again to his love, Cecilia. And the guy is committed to succeeding in this mission. Now the other adventurers are chatting about the rookie who went up from rank F to D in 1 week. That indeed is being a prodigy. Yoki goes to deliver his other jobs, but Clayman does not want service and gets angry. Then asks who he is, because it is not normal for a common adventurer to go from rank F to D in 1 week. Yoki thinks that he went too far in the climb, but Clayman says that he investigated and did not find anything illegitimate in Yoki's promotion. That said, a hooded girl arrives saying to cancel Yoki's mission and reveals herself to be Cecilia. Clayman wants to know what she wants, but nobody can hear that the heroine is there. Then Cecilia asks Yoki to go with her to her house to talk better. Yoki is very happy that he is going to the house of his beloved and surprised as well. Arriving, one of the guards sees Yoki getting out of the carriage and points a spear at him, wanting to know what a guy is doing in the carriage of Lady Cecilia of the Aquaring family. The other stops him and Cecilia arrives to defend her friend. This guard there is too jealous and envious. He would not get anything with the girl anyway. Inside the mansion, Cecilia asks for apologies because she wanted to go see him much earlier. For Yoki it is fine, since he was enjoying his new life of adventures. He was surprised that she found him, and Cecilia says that it was easy because there was a lot of gossip about a rookie adventurer who went up from rank F to D in the blink of an eye. However, she asks for Yoki to no longer be an adventurer and explains the reason. Even if the demon lord has been defeated, this does not end other threats. Yoki understands, since monsters and other demons are still around. Cecilia says that it is more than that, it is the war between human kingdoms for supreme power. The signs are already appearing, such as the hero Yuga receiving marriage proposals from several countries. Yoki cannot stand this little popular Yuga. Cecilia says that the kingdoms offer fame, status, and riches to various talented people in order to recruit forces capable of fighting in the war. And Yoki, who is evolving at an incredible speed, can soon reach rank S. And with that, several countries will want to recruit him for their armies, including the Kingdom of Clarineth, and if Yoki by accident reveals his powers of darkness, he can be used as a great weapon or worse, be seen as an enemy by this country and be hunted and sent to F. Because of that, Cecilia wants Yoki to lie low for now, but the guy has to pay the bills and have somewhere to live. So Cecilia says that she would hire him and pay him a salary, but knows that she cannot offer an offer worthy of a rank S that he is. But she will do what is within her reach to help. Then she begs him to accept her idea. Then Yoki starts his theater, saying that everything is fine, because never that any young lady that appears would make him forget his beloved Cecilia, because he only has eyes for her. Cecilia finds this funny, and Yoki realizes that he did again that habit that he had on Earth. Cecilia thanks him and says that there is no problem for him to continue in the Adventurers Guild. Yoki says that he will be more discreet from now on. That said, Cecilia's mother arrives, Cecilia awkwarding together with her maid Sophia. Yoki is nervous to meet her and introduces himself formally. Celia apologizes for her guard having been rude at the entrance, but Yoki says that this is not something that deserves an apology. Celia feels relieved and says that Sophia will give the guard a scare to reward Yoki. Yoki does not believe that the maid will manage to give a good scolding to the house guard. But then Sophia asks how many bones she can break, and Celia says that it is up to her. Cecilia is already nervous with this crooked talk of her mother and wants her to leave soon. Then Celia apologizes and asks Sophia to leave them alone. The mother asks if the daughter already talked about an important subject, which is the countless marriage proposals that she received, including from Yuga. Yoki goes crazy with this. He does not want the famous little Yuga, who has the princess and several women wanting him, to meddle in his love with Cecilia. Cecilia asks the guy to calm down because she refused all the marriage proposals. Celia notices that Yoki likes her daughter, then sits close to him and asks if he wants to marry her. Yoki freezes and does not know what to say, and when looking at Cecilia says no. He will only ask her out again when he has a worthy life as an adventurer. Celia understands and says that he passed the test. She would never hand over her daughter like that on a silver platter, because she does not want a weirdo to marry Cecilia. Celia asks him to get along well with her daughter, and Yoki thanks a lot. Outside, Cecilia says that her mother liked him a lot and asks if something bothers him. Yoki says that it is her family and wants to make a request to be able to call her by her name. Cecilia allows it and wants to call him Yoki as well, and this leaves the boy happy as can be. My good man. This ice guy I liked. Even though the genre has been saturated for a long time, I liked this first episode. It is quite tasty to watch and fun. If you think the same, comment there Yoki is weird and leave your like for more videos of this anime. Subscribe and activate the little bell to not miss anything, and look at the description for more recaps of the season. Thanks for the support as always, and bye. Yoki faces a cockatrice that attacks him in every way, but goes a Vasco with one blow and manages to do the mission of getting the feathers of the beast. Playman said it would take more than a week, but for Yoki, it took only one day. It's easy to be overpowered, right? That said, his demon companions attack him, and Yoki defends himself and reveals that it's him, the captain. Then they chill and stop. They thought he was a common adventurer. Yoki is happy that Happiness, Duke, and Sheik were saved, but Duke is mad because he didn't know where Yoki was after the Demon Lord went to F. They thought he had gone to base. They want to know why Yoki is disguised as a human. Yoki asks for calm, and Sheik says that Duke was the one who was most worried about the captain. Then Yoki explains that he confessed his love to the priestess of the heroes group, but was rejected on the spot. And now he is a human adventurer and tells his subordinates to live however they want from now on. Then they decide that they want to follow their captain and meet the person for whom he is in love. He says that it won't roll because they are not humans to be walking around out there. However, they say that they can disguise themselves since it is easy. Then Yoki tells them to prepare for everything. The group goes to Cecilia, who already scolds Yoki for having ripped off the wings of the harpy Happiness. Yoki asks for forgiveness and says that he was an idiot. Cecilia drinks a tea with Duke and Yoki and knows that they are former subordinates of the Proto, but they don't look like demons. Duke is a Dullahan, Happiness a harpy, and Sheik a pixie. Duke would even remove his head to prove it, but now it is glued with the helmet and the armor. Yoki says that Duke talks too much for a sensible demon, and before he was more quiet. Duke reveals that this is the captain's fault and that before he didn't like him, because he was famous for being reclusive. Even Yoki's superior, Zahir, who gave orders for him to go out and attack humans. He was treated with that Yoki theater, so he got tired of talking with Yoki. Then they threw Yoki into solitary and left him there until Duke arrived and tried to correct his behavior, but was defeated so many times that he started to like him and followed him forever. Yoki for sure has a lot of respect among his subordinates, although sometimes it doesn't seem like it. Happiness and Sheik disappeared in this huge mansion, and Yoki gets worried that Celia and other people of the house discover that they are demons, because it can go bad. They look for the missing ones and find Sheik sleeping on Celia's lap. Yoki says that he is a friend of his and apologizes if Sheik caused problems. Celia is chill, since she likes children and saw that the kid was running from here to there. Got tired and slept on her lap. Cecilia wants to know where the girl is. She went with Sophia and is dressed as a maid. The people find her, and Sophia says that Happiness is the new maid of the house. But Cecilia says that it is a mistake, since she is a friend of Yoki. Sophia says that she thought Happiness was the new maid who had arrived. Yoki tells them to go already, but Happiness really wants to work as a maid because she wants to have something to do and dedicate herself. So Sophia accepts and goes to show the maid's quarters. The people are going away, and Celia says that they can visit whenever they want. The MILF says that her daughter got very exhausted with so much work, then tells Yoki to take her for a walk on her day off. On the next day, Yoki is waiting for her, and Cecilia arrives by chocobo carriage with her casual outfit all beautiful. Yoki gets dumbfounded and doesn't know what to say. Cecilia put on glasses Superman style to disguise herself in the crowd. She doesn't want to cause a fuss for being the priestess of the heroes group. Being famous has its disadvantages, but still I wish I had the advantage of having her money in my bank account. Cecilia apologizes for having involved Yoki, but as if he is worried, what he really wants is to enjoy this date of theirs and make this a wonderful day for Cecilia. The two stroll through the commerce streets, and Cecilia sees a bunch of new cake at the pastry shop and says that they will have tea later too. They go to a flower shop, and Cecilia admires the beauties of the flowers. but Yoki admires her, and all her sweet way with the kitty, finding it very cute. They stop by a clothing store, and Cecilia tries on a red dress that drives Yoki crazy. Then they pass by a place to see some accessories for Cecilia, and then the most annoying character of this dump appears. Yuga notices Cecilia and almost ruins his and Mikana's disguise. The two go up to Cecilia like good group colleagues, but this hero is very inconvenient and invites her to stroll with him. Cecilia says that she is with a friend now, and it doesn't work. Yuga thinks he has already seen him, but doesn't really care and grabs Cecilia to enter the shop. Mikana is pissed with Yuga being a crazy animal for Cecilia, right when she managed to be alone with him. She tells Yoki that it's good he manages to get along well with Cecilia, for Yuga to give up on her once and for all. But she has doubts if he will manage with that ugly and common face. A woman, when she wants to be cruel, she knows how, right, my good one? That was crazy. She threw a paw at poor Yoki. Cecilia has already rejected Yuga several times, but the guy keeps pressing, and Mikana tries to stop him. Yoki is not going to lose to this pretty little face. Yoki steps in and wants to give a present to Cecilia to thank her for everything. Cecilia likes it, but the jealous Yuga also wants to participate and give something better to Cecilia. Yoki notices his attitude, then grabs a necklace that he finds beautiful and wants to give it to Cecilia. She liked it a lot. However, the idiot Yuga arrives with a huge and very extravagant thing, just because it is the most expensive item he thinks that Cecilia will want it. When he tries to put it on Cecilia, everyone in the shop notices her, and the hero causes a huge commotion. Everyone runs away, and Yoki stays behind. Yoki then runs to find Cecilia, and on the way sees one of the heroes who killed the Demon King, being approached by several women in love. His name is Raven, a swordsman who is now commander of the knights. The guy doesn't let out a peep. Then Yak saves him by telling the girls that the hero is over there in the corner. Raven doesn't say anything even when he is alone with Yoki, who is already going to look for Cecilia, but he opens his mouth, and it seems that he doesn't like to talk because of his thin voice that doesn't match his body type. Yoki doesn't laugh at his voice like everyone already did, except Raven's mother and cousins, who also never laughed at his voice. With that, Raven wants to be friends with White Kai, since he was really nice. Yoki accepts it easily and remembers that he has to bail and says goodbye. Cecilia is worried that Yoki has already gone away. Then she finds an injured boy crying for his mother. She heals him and says that everything will be fine. That said, the great actor Yoki arrives and says that he will find the boy's mother even if he turns this whole world upside down. Cecilia thinks that this will only scare the child, but Yoki says that kids love this way of his. Then the kid starts laughing at Yoki getting scolded. Kind of it worked. The two look for the lost boy's mother, and Yoki says that Cecilia can already go home. But for her, it's fine. If someone discovers her again, she finds a way. Meanwhile, Yuga is looking for Cecilia, but Mikana says that they should go away, so there won't be more confusion like before, and that Cecilia must already be at home. Yuga, all sulky, worries about Cecilia more than Mikana and runs to look for her. Mikana gets very sad with this attitude of his. Yuga finds Cecilia, but Mikana is not by his side to see it. On the next day, Yoki finds out through Celia that Cecilia caught a cold due to the tiredness and the commotion that happened when they discovered her at the shop. Yoki blames himself, but nothing was his fault. The hero Yuga tried to take flowers and see Cecilia, but was barred so as not to worsen the girl's health. Sophia barred him and sent him away from the house. Celia says that Yoki can go see Cecilia. The girl says that she has to get ready first, but Sophia promises that she hid her teddy bear. The embarrassment increased about 200% for Cecilia. Yoki enters and found his beloved's room beautiful. Cecilia apologizes for him seeing her like that, but Yoki is the one who asks for forgiveness and knew that she was tired from so many duties, and on top of that, he made her walk all over the place. Cecilia accepts that and says that as an apology, he will have to accompany her on her next day off. The boy did well. He will have a new date with Cecilia and didn't even have to try very hard. The two laugh, but Cecilia starts coughing from so much effort. Then Sophia does a rear naked choke on Yoki and says not to speak loudly and kicks him out of the house. She thanks him for the visit of the day, and happiness closes the door in his face. On the way out, Yoki finds Raven all dressed up and they talk. Then Raven asks Yoki for love advice because he is in love with someone. As he doesn't have confidence in his voice, he thought that this girl he likes would laugh at him. But she was different and said that she was jealous of his beautiful voice. Yoki says that she is a good girl and that is why Raven fell in love. The swordsman wants to know what to do now. Yoki says that he needs to have confidence because he is tall and very handsome, besides being one of the heroes who saved the world. So there's nothing to lose if the girl already praised his voice. Yoki does as Jojo poses and tells the guy to take action and go for it. Raven thanks him and takes courage, then goes there to confess to the girl, and since he's going to Cecilia's house, it can only be her, the so-called one. Raven gathers courage and goes to Cecilia's mansion to confess his love, and Yoki goes crazy thinking that he might be in love with Cecilia and already gets angry that he encouraged his own rival to go try his luck with Cecilia, and it is even worse because the two are from the same group. So Yoki gets right away to imagine this. He imagines the two fighting together and Raven saving her from a demon that their Yoki cannot let happen. But out of nowhere, Raven comes back desolate and without hope, and even though Yoki had encouraged him, it didn't help at all. In the afternoon, Yoki goes to the mansion and asks Sophia about Cecilia. Nothing suspicious, right? Taking into account that he just visited the girl that day. So much so that the angry Sophia orders him to come back another day. Yoki finally asks about Raven's visit, and Sophia says that he asked to talk with Happiness. Then everything fits. The swordsman is in love with the harpy. Yoki goes to talk with his friend and asks about Raven and how his love confession was. She only says that it is impossible, but it is not for not liking him, and yes, for another reason that Happiness does not want to tell, and goes away. Then Yoki decides to come back another time and at night tells everything about Raven and Happiness to Duke and Sheik. They do not remember who it is. So Yoki says that it is the swordsman from the heroes group. Duke is not happy with Yoki having brought a human close to Happiness, but Yoki did none of that. Duke is like this because humans who get close to Happiness always have bad intentions because harpies are beautiful, and in the end humans want them to take their feathers and sell them on the black market. And Happiness only went to the Demon Lord's army because Duke saved her from human hunters. However, Sheik says that this does not mean that Happiness hates humans because there are the kind ones among them. She even became a maid in a mansion because she liked the people there. Yoki understands that Duke is worried, but assures that Raven is a good person, and Happiness herself must notice this. Yoki in the morning goes to the Adventurers Guild and notices that Clayman is not there. The other receptionist asks if Yoki is the guy who always talks to the guild's vice master. Yoki gets confused for a moment, but then the woman says that Clayman is the vice master. Yoki wants to know where he is, but she cannot speak out loud to preserve the dignity of the guild. But then she whispers in Yoki's ear that the guy is hospitalized. Yoki makes a visit with a basket of fruits to the vice master and wants to know how he ended up all bandaged. Clayman says that his wife left him bedridden because on the day that he went to choose the birthday present, something happened. He took so long to buy something that it got night. He was kicked out and the store closed. With this, Clayman was late for the wedding anniversary dinner, so his wife, boiling with rage, gave him a beating of those on him that the guy ended up getting hospitalized. Yoki understands why it would look bad if the guild knew about this. Clayman's wife seems to be a great warrior, and Clayman says that she used to be a rank A adventurer together with him. The two accepted high rank requests and received the enviable nickname of Invincible and Apathetic Couple. Yoki does not see how someone is going to envy this crazy title. Yoki suggests using healing magic to treat Clayman and his injuries, but the man does not accept that even if paid, because he has the perfect chance for his wife to take care of him and treat him with affection and does not want Yoki to interfere. That said, Clayman's wife arrives with a change of clothes, and it is Sophia, his wife. Yoki is surprised, and Clayman, all in love, calls his sweetie and was anxious waiting for her. Sophia gives Clayman a kick and tells him to call her Sophia like always. But the pain does not matter because he can see under Sophia's skirt. She does not care at all, and Yoki is surprised. But it is normal after all. They are married, and intimacy they have in abundance. Sophia thanks Yoki for having gone to visit her husband, and Yoki says that it was nothing and wants to know how Cecilia's fever is. Sophia says that it decreased a lot, and she is already much better. Yoki wants to go see her, but Sophia says that Cecilia will spend the whole day out working, although she wanted the priestess to rest for a few days. Yoki understands and asks if girls care that much about presents. Sophia is already enraged if her husband said some nonsense. Yoki, dying of fear, says that it is not that and says that he wanted to please Cecilia with something. Then Sophia says that if it is done with sincerity and affection, she is sure that Cecilia will be happy. Yoki thanks her a lot and runs off. He imagines how it would be if he and Cecilia got married. Yoki only imagines scenarios of his world, with Cecilia cooking or coming back from work late. Yoki goes to the knight's dormitory and enters Raven's depressive room, tries to call the man, and when he mentions the name Happiness, the guy gets up immediately and wants to know how Yoki knows her. He says that they have been friends for a long time, and because of that he is worried about Raven's situation, so he wanted to know how the two met. Raven then tells that one day he was on patrol alone when he saw about 3 punks messing with a maid wanting something from her. Then he went to protect her, and one of the crazies tried to fight and was humiliated When they recognized that he was Raven from the heroes group and commander of the knights, they ran away like a little dog afraid. Raven was going to leave, but Happiness stopped him and thanked him for saving her. Raven said that it was his job and, embarrassed by her laughing at his voice, tried to leave. However, Happiness said that he has a beautiful voice and she was jealous. Then something began to blossom in Raven, so Happiness thanks him once more and goes home. As Raven had already seen her maid uniform before, he decided to go to Cecilia's mansion to look for her. Raven is surprised that Yoki knows Cecilia. Then he tells that he came from another city to try to stay with his beloved and tries to be a great adventurer to be worthy of the priestess. Raven admires this and thinks that he is a failure in comparison to Yoki. Yoki helps Raven, saying that Happiness has certain traumas with men and because of that does not communicate well with them. Now Raven knows that his confession perhaps scared her too much and because of that he was rejected. Yoki does not think that it is that and says that it is too early for Raven to give up. Then he calls the knight to go out and the two go to an accessory shop where they're going to get presents for their beloveds. Yoki buys the necklace that he saw before for Cecilia and Raven looks at something for Happiness. Yoki helps by saying that the pink brooch that looks like wings would be perfect for Happiness. Yoki says that it is a perfect present, but Raven thinks that her receiving this from guys she barely knows would be scary. Yoki says that it is not like that. If it is done with sincerity, everything counts. But he does not help with the villain face. Then Yoki says that it is the perfect brooch designed for Happiness. Raven thinks it through and decides to buy the wing brooch, and since he does not talk much, he communicates by writing notes. Then Mikana appears and is surprised that two men are in a shop like that together. Yoki says that it is not that and that they are choosing presents for their beloveds. Mikana already knew that the normal guy wanted Cecilia, but did not know that Raven likes someone. However, he does not say anything. And Mikana is sad and feels guilty for him not talking to her because she laughed at his voice when they met. Yoki sees that Mikana is not only rude all the time and seems to be sorry for what she did. However, the shop staff notices them. So Mikana tells the three to go to another place and talk properly. Yoki does not want that, but Raven already writes that there is no way to run away from Mikana. Then they go to a restaurant and there they can talk freely, but the boys do not want to talk and eat so as not to talk at all. This is the plan, stay silent eating. Mikana tricks Yoki saying that she was going to talk more about Cecilia. With this, Yoki already wants to talk nicely. She asks how far he went with the priestess and Yoki says that it is not as if they were dating for something to happen and that she always has several marriage proposals and one of them is from Yuga, but Cecilia refuses all of them. Mikana says that the idiot Yuga does not stop being nosy with Cecilia and irritating her. Out of nowhere, he enters the room when the girls are changing clothes or misses the bath time and enters when they are in the bathtub. Besides being so popular with women that he disrupts the group's journey. One day, he had the nerve to want to stay one more day because of the village girls. Then Cecilia said that Yuga's carelessness with women was affecting the group a lot and gave him a scolding. Mikana says that it is never good to leave the priestess irritated and tells Yoki Tio, be careful with this. Now Mikana wants to know who Raven's beloved is and Yoki wants to protect him and not reveal it. Mikana cannot take being treated like the villain of the story anymore and Yoki thought that she really was. She thought that she could help with something because everyone at some point talks about romance. Raven says that Mikana maybe wanted love advice and says that she can trust Yoki and tell everything. She says that Yuga hates her after what happened some time ago. Yoki thinks that it might be something heavy and Mikana makes him promise that he will not tell anything. Then she says that the heroes group was wiped out several times in the Demon Lord's castle and Yoki knows this well after all he was there. Mikana tells that they were not even defeated by the Demon King, but rather by one of his generals who stayed guarding the entrance. It was a very strong being and always underestimated them. Every time the group woke up in a village near the castle and with all their wounds healed, this was too much humiliation to endure. But they always lied, saying that for safety, they retreated from the Demon Lord's castle, all to protect the honor of the hero Yuga. However, they continued this for a month, and the village's supplies were running out and they no longer had what to invent in their reports. Until on the day the villain said to leave the priestess behind, and Mikana convinced everyone to do that and advance to victory. She is being hated by Yuga for having made this cruel decision, and knows that he did not forgive her. Yuga may not say anything and only keeps smiling as always, but Mikana notices the difference and says that not even Yoki should forgive her for knowing that because of her, the priestess almost went to F. Yoki cannot say anything about it. Then Raven says not to blame Mikana and that he could have given his opinion that day too and asks for forgiveness. Yoki feels bad for being the reason for the rupture in the heroes group. He tells Mikana to talk with Cecilia about how she feels, but Mikana does not have the courage to do that and would not know what to say to her. She cannot say that she did this to protect Yuga's honor and because she likes him. It is very selfish to expect forgiveness only with an apology. Yoki says that they cannot stay with this bad atmosphere forever. Is it really okay to continue like this? It is better to think a little more about the matter. Mikana says that it is true and says that Yoki is quite useful for a boring guy. Then she leaves. Raven does not want it to end like this and wishes to see happiness one more time. The two arrive at the mansion and Yoki sees that Duke is there. He says that Sheik really wanted to see the MILF Celia and was making a fuss about it. And he asks who the guy is. Yoki says that it is Raven and Duke is already angry and wants to know what he wants after being rejected and says that insisting is ugly. Yoki tells him to stop with that and tells Raven that Duke is worried about happiness because they have a long history together. Duke says that those who approach happiness with bad intentions will not be forgiven and says that a silent, coward guy can leave if he is not going to do anything. Yoki tries to help Raven, but he defends himself alone and says that he really does not know anything about happiness. Then Duke says that it is good to get out of there. However, Raven stays and does not know what to say to her. Duke says that in moments like this, it is to say that he will protect her or that he will always be by her side. But those would not be Raven's true words if he said that now. Sheik meets with happiness, then Duke tells Raven to go talk to her right away. He was only testing to see if the guy is worth something indeed. Raven apologizes for the other day and gives happiness her present to her and asks for the two to be friends for now. Happiness accepts the present and says that it is okay if they are friends. The atmosphere improves, and Raven has some progress in the relationship. Yoki is sick in bed without seeing Cecilia, but Sheik wants to go soon to her house to see Celia. However, Yoki will not go if Cecilia is not there. It has already been a week that the poor guy does not see her because she's busy just like all the others of her group. Cecilia works traveling to heal wounded from several cities and villages. Raven became leader of the knights, Mikana a mage of the royal court, and the hero Yuga is busy with diplomacy and hunting high-rank monsters. Everyone is spread out and there's not even time to talk among themselves. Yoki, for this reason, blames himself for having pushed the group away. Sheik does not care and jumps on top of him and wanted Duke to be there to have fun, but the guy entered the Order of the Knights because Raven recruited him. That said, Happiness appears and says that there is a message from Cecilia. She will be the whole afternoon in the mansion waiting for Yoki. Now Happiness returns to the boy's face and he will be able to deliver the necklace to her. There's a long time until he goes to Cecilia's house. So what to do? A fortune teller woman stops him and says that Yoki's luck will be horrible on the day, but he does not fall into traps like that because his day already started well and will be the best of all. At the bakery, who serves him in place of the usual girl is her bodybuilder brother. He is taking care of the shop for a little bit. So Yoki asks for some little cakes for the trip and receives the bag with the brutality of those. Yoki leaves disoriented and sees that his little cakes are all smashed, but taste is what matters and it is very delicious. However, he bumps into a 2-meter NBA giant and then continues walking and almost steps on poop. Luck turned into bad luck, just like the fortune teller said it was going to happen. To make it worse, a child bumps into Yoki and makes his skewer fall, then cries and cries. That said, Yoki calms him down, buying 2 more skewers for the boy and asking him to walk calmly and look where he walks next time. The little boy smiles, thanks, and goes away. Then a thief steals Yoki's money, which he notices and uses magic to run and catches the bandit and his money. However, the hero Yuga stops him, thinking that Yoki is the bandit who stole from a civilian. The bad luck could not get worse, right? Yoki dodges Yuga's blows and tries to explain himself, but the Order of the Knights arrives and arrests him. Yoki is in the cell, thoughtful that he lost the day. Then Duke arrives and thinks that the man in love, without seeing the woman, surrendered to the world of crime. Yoki can relax because Raven is already solving everything and soon he leaves the prison. Yoki says that Duke has to call Raven captain since he is a superior, but Duke only accepts Yoki as captain but calls Raven commander in public. An elf knight called Iron tells Duke to go back to training. The vice commander is angry that he left out of nowhere and without permission. Duke asks for the keys to release Yoki because Raven already solved everything that happened and already investigated Yoki before. Irene hands over the keys and says that the hero also wants to ask forgiveness for from Yoki. So he then goes to a restaurant with Raven, and Yuga offers a banquet for the misunderstanding. The thing shines so much that it blinds the eyes. The annoying guy. Yuga knows that Yoki is a friend of Raven because he scolded him a lot and wanted to know what Yoki's relationship with Cecilia is since he saw them together on a walk. Yoki says that they are good friends, and Yuga envies and wanted to be a friend to Cecilia, therefore asks for advice to become a good friend to Cecilia. However, how will Yoki help his rival? That's a no. He says that he has known Cecilia for a short time. It is better for Yuga to ask about her to someone closer. Raven says that it is impossible, and Yuga says that he can use his voice. Raven tells Yuga to ask Mikana, but he says that Mikana does not like Cecilia. But this talk is badly told. Yuga says that in the final adventure to defeat the Demon King, Mikana suggested that they abandon Cecilia so they could move forward. In the end, everything turned out fine because Cecilia saved herself, and what Mikana did was cruel too much. But Yoki knows because he was there, and this talk is too distorted. Abandoning Cecilia was not Mikana's fault. Of course, she accepted the offer of the demon that was stopping them, and the whole group accepted. Yuga says that he wanted to refuse, but Mikana said to accept the offer, saying that the mage did this for hating Cecilia. Yoki is already angry because he saw Mikana's tears of regret when talking about the story. But this little shit Yuga cannot take responsibility for his own mess and puts the blame on Mikana. Cecilia told him to go ahead, and who made the decision was the leader Yuga. Raven tells Yuga to stop being beta, and Yoki tells him to become a man and take responsibility with his companions. If Yuga does not face the consequences, he will be apathetic. The hero breaks down crying like a baby, and Yoki asks him to stop because people are looking. Yuga calms down and talks about his thing with Mikana, his childhood friend. She always was hardworking and scolded him when Yuga did shit, but she is always by his side for everything in every battle. Even when he was chosen as hero and did not know what to do with the weight, Mikana was there supporting him. Even so, the worst character screwed up again and does not know how to fix things. Yoki tells him to go to her and take a scolding. If it does not work, then he can give up. Friends are real. When they scold you and say to your face what you need to improve. Who stays only praising does not even care about you. Yoki tells him to go already, and Yuga thanks again, like a little child. Yuga leaves and goes to see Mikana, but wants Yoki's help to go with him, so Yuga becomes more brave to talk. The three arrive at Mikana's house, and Yuga says that he could go there alone, but the hero says that he would not have courage going alone, then enters Mikana's house. Yoki unfortunately left his beloved waiting, but will be able to unite the hero's group again. But then the idiot Yuga entered right when Mikana was changing clothes. The guy has the ability to always appear in the most inconvenient moments. Yuga tells her not to say anything and to listen to him. He knows that he did the worst to Mikana a long time ago, that he hurt her by thinking that she was the one who left Cecilia behind, for that he asks forgiveness, and when Mikana thinks that Yuga is going to say something decent, the guy asks to be whipped. This one likes some weird stuff, so much so that Mikana gets pissed, and now Yes gives an explosion on him to stop being a sucker. Yoki does not want to see anything else and goes away to Cecilia. He is running to the mansion, but runs into the old fortune teller, and he soon says that he does not believe and leaves. What a pity that he did not hear that his luck changed to a very good one. Yoki bumps into the Baker brother and sister. She apologizes for the smashed cake that he received, then gives new fluffy ones to Yoki as apologies. Yoki accepts and now bumps into the boy from before with his bodyguards and butler. The rich boy said that he was helped, and Yoki receives a bunch of skewers as a gift. Finally, he arrives at Cecilia's house. Happiness says that he is late, and Yoki knows that. Then he sees his beautiful shining and gives the little foods to her, even if the combination is strange. Cecilia says that she will make a tea for them. Yoki thought that this was the maid's job, but Sophia taught Cecilia even to cook a little. Now Yoki fell even more in love with the priestess. She finds out everything since she left for work, that Raven and Happiness are friends, and that Yoki met Yuga and Mikana. That said, the group arrives at the house, and Yuga wants to apologize for everything, but Mikana already gave him a punch to make him shut up. Mikana apologizes for the intrusion in her house, but has to say something to the priestess, ask for forgiveness. Mikana says that nothing can forgive her because she abandoned Cecilia. The others also ask forgiveness as a group for leaving Cecilia alone with the demon. The priestess holds no grudge for anything. After all, she was not the only one who risked her life. Certainly, it was not easy to defeat the Demon Lord. Everyone that was giving their maximum, and that random Demon Lord was weak. You see, I do not know if the heroes got strong from fighting Yoki so much, or if the Demon King was really a nobody, but he took a Yuga Excalibur and went to base. When they defeated the boss Mikana ran to see how Cecilia was and saw her arriving safe and sound. The others came back, and Cecilia felt happy for Mikana having returned to save her even without mana and exhausted from the fight. Cecilia does not blame Mikana for anything. The good thing is that everyone is alive. The friends hold hands, and Mikana calls her by name. Everyone apologizes, and the mood improves among the heroes group. Later, Cecilia and Yoki go out, and she knows that Yoki was the one who gathered the group and advised them. The protagonist says that the relationship of the group became tense because of him, so he felt that he had to help. Cecilia thanks him and says that he became a friend of her family and of her companions, and that makes her happy. Yoki then remembers to give Cecilia's present and finally delivers it. The priestess opens it and sees the necklace that the two saw in the shop on the walk. Yoki asks her to accept it, and Cecilia happily says that it will be her treasure. Yoki even cries and thanks hearing these words. Cecilia feels that since she met Yoki, everything in her life became more fun. After the credits, a village is being attacked by some bandits. The old man tells them to spare the citizens and take what they want, but the damn ones want the children and the women. That said, a young man appears who slashes everyone with a knife and saves the village, but does not seem to have the face of many friends. My good man, another tasty and relaxing episode ended. But there's this crazy post-credits what will happen. Yoki is a very cool guy for bringing together the friends of the heroes group and finally giving the present to Cecilia. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe. Activate the little bell to not miss any recap, and see the description for more videos. Thanks for the support, as always, and bye. Yoki, Sheik, and Cecilia are going to a village to help in her work. However, Sheik invited himself, which makes Yoki angry because he wanted to have a moment alone on this trip with Cecilia. She asks for forgiveness for giving so much work and gets nauseated on carriage trips. Yoki says to rest a little, and Sheik gives a medicine made from a secret infusion of pixies. Cecilia thanks and drinks, feeling much better. I wish that medicine in real life worked in an instant. Cecilia is relieved that the two are traveling together with her, and Yoki says that she can leave everything on his account. But Sheik is fooling around too much, taking Yoki's patience away. The group arrives at the village that was attacked by thieves, a sad vision to see. The elder arrives and did not expect that Lady Cecilia would go there personally and wants to know who the two Ramdans are. Cecilia says that they are very good in medical treatments and that one can trust in their abilities. The group begins the treatment of the injured of the little village, and Cecilia especially makes a lot of effort and smiles to comfort the heart of everyone. Our Ramdan says to Yoki that Cecilia is a wonderful person and he knows that well. Then Yoki says that it could have been much worse, still good that there were no deaths. The Sir says that the thieves suddenly began to flee, which is strange. An unknown began to attack them, and Yoki thinks that it may have been a misunderstanding of the group, and he sees that Cecilia is very tired from healing the others so much and needs to rest. But she says that she can continue. Then Yoki uses Sacred Veil and makes her sleep. He says to the people that she only needs to rest a little, that it is nothing much. Later, Cecilia wakes up in her room and is angry with Yoki. It is not to stay using magic on others out of nowhere. He asks for forgiveness, and she says that it is not cool to do that against the will of people. But Yoki was worried about Cecilia's health, because she would faint at any moment if she continued using magic. She says that it is true, but it is good for Yoki not to do that anymore. He agrees and says that the treatment's finished. Cecilia thanks, smiling, and the man is all silly and happy with his beloved. The Sir arrives in the room and is happy that she woke up because there is a new request for the priestess. There is a girl who is called Till and lives in the surroundings of the village. He wants them to examine her. The good thing is that she was not attacked by the thieves, but Till has fragile health since she was born and is in bed now. For that reason, the Sir is worried. Cecilia goes to help and wants to know where Till lives. Then the group goes to her house and she wants to know who they are. Cecilia introduces herself with the other two and says that the chief of the village asked to see her. The girl is very bad and coughs a lot. Then Yoki asks Sheik to give him medicine to her. Till can stay relaxed, that even with his face of child he knows of things. Till takes the medication and feels much lighter and thanks for the medicine and says that this must be a blessing of the statue of the guardian divinity. They do not know what type of god this is. Till says that on the way home after taking an offering, she fell asleep suddenly on the day of the attack of the thieves. So she slept near the statue and escaped from death. Besides that, when she was 7 years old, she was about to go dragged away, by hungry wolves when an attack of black lightning saved her from them, and there was the guardian divinity, which looks more like a little devil. For Till this is a true blessing. Cecilia and Yoki deduce that with this description from Till, the statue can only be a demon using dark magic, and it seems kind of suspicious. However, Till says that it is a lie, and they will understand when they see the statue. The group goes there and think that it is the statue of a demon, but Till says that it is not good to mock the divinity and feel sick. So Cecilia will accompany her to her house to rest. Yoki notices that the statue is a gargoyle that was in the castle of the Demon King. Said that the gargoyle attacks Yoki and Sheik already throws a big kick on it and immobilizes it. Yoki says that it is not to do anything and wants to know if the creature speaks. The gargoyle says that if they are to send him to F, then let it be now. Sheik would do it easily, but Yoki only wants to talk. The gargoyle understood that they wanted to defeat him because it heard that they knew where he was from and thought that it was over for him. Yoki asks for forgiveness for the misunderstanding and wants to know why a gargoyle turned into a guardian divinity of this village. The gargoyle answers that it was created to protect a certain temple. However, bandits stole it from that place in the past. Then the thieves are going to attack the village, and it gave a divine punishment on them. After that, the residents decided to call it guardian divinity, although lately only Till visits it. After she was saved, every day she goes to the statue and cleans everything there in the sanctuary. So when the thieves attacked, the gargoyle put her to sleep so as not to go to the village. Yoki now understands that it does not intend to cause problem for the humans. The gargoyle says that it is obvious, it is only living there and did not even want to have gotten involved with the humans. Yoki stays fine with that and asks something to Sheik. Later, Yoki and Cecilia take a walk at night and Sheik went ahead to sleep. Yoki is very happy that he asked Sheik to leave the two alone. Cecilia wants to know if there is any problem, but Yoki says that it is fine and that the gargoyle will not mess with the people of the village. Cecilia worries about a monster being near the village, but as it does not cause problem for the residents, it is calm. Yoki and Cecilia will leave it aside, and it stays in a strange mood that neither of the two says anything, but love is in the air. Cecilia trips and Yoki holds her. The two stay very close to each other, but soon move away. These two have to make out already, but you know how these generic animes are, right? It will happen there around the 10th season of Kiss. Yoki says that it is dangerous to walk without looking at the ground at night. She thanks the concern and they continue walking. Then more thieves attack the village wanting the money and the food of the people. However, Yoki, Cecilia, and Sheik will deal with them. Sheik Sleepy gives a beating on the Ramdan all and without any effort. He is worthy of being subordinate of Yoki. The demon general attacks with his wind and lightning magic and deals with the scoundrels. Then, they see a smoke coming from the sanctuary of the guardian divinity, and Yoki asks Sheik to go see what it is, while Yoki humiliates the bandits. He uses Hyperstorm and finishes them. After that, he finds it strange that Sheik has not yet returned. Said that the divinity is injured until it is at its side. Yoki and Cecilia arrive at the place and see that Sheik was badly beaten by the weirdo of the past episode. Cecilia says that he is the hero of the Gallus Empire, Miller. Yoki thought that only Yuga was a hero, but it seems that each country has won. Sheik wants to continue fighting, however, has to rest. He says that Miller attacked the gargoyle from behind while he was defending Till. Sheik tried to protect the two and was badly beaten. Miller wants to send the gargoyle to F right away, but Yoki will not let it. It was only protecting Till. Then Miller will cut the girl together with the monster, simple and easy. But Yoki uses magic to stop him and Miller's sword nullifies his power. Cecilia says that he is a bad matchup for Yoki because Miller possesses an artificial magic devouring sword. It absorbs magic, speaking in a simple way. Miller then cuts the arm of the gargoyle, and Cecilia says that if that neck slap there hurts the people of Clarines, there will be a war. Miller really wants a war, thus he can send the others to Vasco without worrying about anything, because a peaceful world is very boring for him. Cecilia notes that he has no pride at all in being a hero. Miller did not give a damn about that, and Yoki cannot let him loose and uses more magic to stop him. But nothing works with his sword that absorbs magic. Miller says that it is better for Yoki to use a weapon, but unfortunately, he can only use magic. Miller got tired of this and attacks, but Yoki dodges and continues casting spells. At this point, it may be that his mana runs out, then Yoki uses a super lightning blow. However, it does not work either. It seems that not even advanced magic has effect on the delinquent. Yoki says that now he will go all out, and Miller continues blocking and says that he even has quite a lot of mana for a human, but soon it will run out and it will be his end. However, he barely knows that Yoki is a demon, and Miller's sword begins to overload from so much magic absorbed. There is a limit that an artificial sword can contain of magic, so much that it cracks and breaks right after with so much magical power from Yoki. The protagonist then throws a good punch in Miller's snout and defeats him easily. However, he uses magic and launches his blow at Yoki, who dodges, and with that to protect the divinity from being hit. Cecilia goes to heal her right away, and Miller had a lot of fun and says that it is stupidity to die protecting a demon. Yoki becomes enraged, and Miller launches an attack of arrows at everyone, but Yoki protects them. He gets pissed at himself for having thought that he had won, just because he has overpowered magical powers, and with that his anger consumes him, making Yoki transform into a demon never seen before. Cecilia is in shock with his new appearance, and Yoki sets off to finish Miller. He finds a delinquent and already puts him on the ground like a worm. Yoki will not forgive him for having torn off the gargoyle's wings and injured his subordinate. For that reason, Miller's death will be painful. Yoki humiliates him, seeming that it is Gon versus Patu. Miller does not understand how there exists such a strong demon now that the Demon Lord was defeated. Yoki has not yet finished with him, so he holds him and gives a good punch in his stomach. He grabs the neck slap and takes him to the skies, almost torturing the crazy guy, and Miller says that this sensation of almost sending someone to F is good, so that Yoki remembers Cecilia and does not want to become a monster. Then he says that if Miller is lucky, he goes back to his kingdom and throws him in the river. After that, Yoki returns to where the others are and now returned to normal. However, he is bleeding after tearing off his horn. So Cecilia heals him and welcomes him back. In the morning, Till says that they need to go to Minerva. There they can look for a way to heal the injuries of the guardian divinity, since healing magic does not work on him. But Cecilia says that monsters cannot enter Minerva. However, Yoki has an idea to change the appearance of the gargoyle with earth magic. Thus, nobody notices that it is a monster. After that, Till goes to work as a maid in Cecilia's mansion, and her mother allows it since it is recommendation of her daughter. Yoki says that he wants to leave the stone statue in the mansion as well. However, Cecilia says that ugly thing does not stay in her house and can take it away. With that, Till cries for the guardian divinity. Till continues cleaning the gargoyle and happy that it is shining a lot. However, she is still sick, and the gargoyle says that she does not need to go there every day. Till wants to know where Yoki is, and the gargoyle says that he went out to the castle and had already told Till that. Cut to the castle where King Dart's altar clarions is introduced and knows that the reason for the visit of Cecilia and Yoki is the incident that occurred in the village of Dagas. Yoki thinks that it does not matter the world or race. Kings are always arrogant like that, but Dart seems different because he wants to speak, as always, in the way of the common people, and his knight says that a king needs to have dignity. Here, Yoki already broke his face and does not know anything more. Then Dart goes straight to the point, that the two defeated the hero Miller and the bandits, thus saving the village of Dagas. Because of that, they will receive a compensation in recognition of the deeds. A small reward will be nice. Cecilia does not desire anything. She only did her duty. The king expected that from the priestess, and he wants Yoki to speak what he desires. However, Yoki stands up excited and says that not even the king can fulfill his desire. Darts is unconformed. Does he want money, a harem, or the throne of the king? What Yoki wants only he can fulfill, which is the love of Cecilia. Everyone is in shock, and Darts laughs, saying that this is indeed impossible even for the king. Cecilia at her house gives a scolding to Yoki, how he reveals his feelings in front of the king and embarrasses her like that. Common sense passed far from the protagonist, and he asks 1,000 pardons. Cecilia says that as punishment, Yoki is forbidden from seeing Cecilia for 1 month. With that, Yoki's heart and mind are broken on another level. Cecilia says that Yoki regretted it and does not need such a severe punishment. Her mother notices that the feeling is mutual for Yoki and finds it cute, so she will let him without seeing her only for 15 days. Then she orders Happiness to get Yoki and send him away. The maid takes the poor guy dragged, and on the way she shows Sheik to the captain. The boy seems sad and hurt, and Yoki knows that it is because of what happened with Miller in the village Dagas. Happiness continues dragging him to his quarters until he's hugging all happy the divinity. who says to unstick a little. Yoki gives the name Guy to the gargoyle to become easier to speak until finds the name beautiful, but foolishly ignores it and will call him guardian divinity the same way. Till is coughing, so it is better for happiness to take her home. Guy says not to make too much effort until says that he is her source of energy. Yoki talks with Guy and says that he did foolishness by declaring himself in the palace and being banned from Cecilia's house for 15 days. Said that Guy says that he has to do whatever it takes to repair the damages. There is no reason to stay crying for what already passed. After all, Yoki has time for that. Then the protagonist goes to the guild and tells everything to Clayman, said that the boy is desperate and wants every type of mission that Clayman can offer, because that way he will be a man worthy for Cecilia. Clayman understands and will help. Meanwhile, Cecilia does not even realize that she put tea in 2 cups unconsciously wanting to see Yoki. Her mother sees that and becomes intrigued, and of course Cecilia says that the extra tea is for her mother. Celia says that the 15 days are almost passing, and Cecilia pretends that she does not know what it is. Sophia says that her husband told her that Yoki is working a lot, which makes Cecilia happy. Yoki arrives home very tired because he worked until night and the days are coming for him to go see Cecilia. Said that Guy wants to tell something. He undoes the transformation and shows his body all cracked. Apparently the injuries were much more serious than they appeared and he does not have much time of life left. Yoki asks why he did not speak before, and Guy says that there was really no time and asks Yoki to take care of Till when he is gone, because her disease was not cured. At any moment she can fall on the ground stiff. And Yoki says that Sheik is taking care of her, but Guy knows what is happening because he observes her since little. Things are strange lately with her health. If Guy goes away now, she will be without anyone. Yoki says that he promises to save Till, but he will also save Guy's life. He refuses to let a friend die. If he goes away, the room will be empty, and he will not have with whom to talk at night. Guy becomes happy with that, and on the next day, Yoki asks Duke for help, who says that Guy only needs magical or to recover. That was too easy for Yoki, who thanks and goes away. However, Duke had not finished explaining. Yoki thinks where he will get magical or... Then Cecilia comes running and says that there is an emergency. It is Till's health condition. Her fever does not go down, and Sheik says that the situation is ugly, and Cecilia says that her magic does not affect directly the disease and the physical exhaustion is too big. Sheik's medication is only a temporary solution. Yoki wants to help, and Sheik says that some medicinal herbs are missing and asks Twilight Primrose from Yoki, a flower that only blossoms in lands with much accumulated magical power, and they are not born in Minerva. So Yoki and Cecilia go to look for this flower. Yoki comments that Guy has a problem too, and Till wants to go see him right away, but she cannot leave in these conditions. So Sheik will make sure to take good care of her. Cecilia says that the magical ores and the flower can be bought in the commercial guild that deals with valuable items. Yoki and she leave straight there, but the guys aren't without stock of the 2 things. The receptionist is very sorry, said that Clayman arrives to get his request form and says to Yoki that he has a little thing for him. But the protagonist does not have time to accept any service now. However, Clayman says that he can get magical ore and Twilight Primroses for him, because there is a request to defeat a monster that's settled in a magical ore mine. And as there's a lot of accumulated energy there, magical primroses also grow. Yoki and Cecilia go together with Clayman and Sophia, and they took the express trip that is more expensive to take 2 days to arrive at the place, because all time is crucial to save the life of Till and Guy. Cecilia thanks Sophia for the help, and she says that if a maid is in danger, it is the duty of the head maid to help her. Yoki is in a hurry, and finally they arrive at an inn to rest and do the mission in the morning, but Yoki wants to go now. However, the magical energy in the mine becomes stronger at night, and with it the enemy also becomes stronger, because the monster that is there ate the magical ores and suffered a mutation, becoming more resistant to offensive magics. Clayman's client wants them to defeat the rock devourer and take its skin intact, because it possesses peculiar properties. Clayman has a plan against it. They can contain it with magic instead of attacking. On the next morning, Sophia and the people are ready, and she will fight with her maid clothes, which confuses the others. Sophia says that it is a battle outfit custom made, and her husband likes to see her in a maid uniform. Clayman arrives, and they go to the mine where the monster is. Then they see it eating a lot the magical, or as if it were a snack. It begins to throw stones in general. Then the group dodges and destroys the stones with Clayman's Shikagamis. Yoki uses magic, but nothing works on the creature, and Clayman says to be careful with the skin of the beast. Then Yoki uses Earth Block to immobilize it, and Cecilia uses Holy Chain to bind its body. However, the beast gets out easily from these seals and continues attacking. Clayman says that he will wrap Sophia in his Shikagamis and put her inside the beast through its mouth, so that she finishes the rock devourer from inside to outside. Cecilia thinks this is too dangerous, but Sophia guarantees herself in direct beating, which is her specialty. Clayman boasts of his powerful wife, saying that she is the strongest of all. Then Yoki uses magic to freeze the legs of the beast, and Cecilia binds it once more with the chains. With that, Clayman uses his Shikagamis on Sophia, and she enters the mouth of the monster. On the outside, the minions of the rock devourer appear to stop the plan of the adventurers. Clayman says to focus everything on the containment magics. Meanwhile, Yoki holds back the small ones, giving enhanced punches on them. However, one of them scratches Clayman, and Yoki tells him to defend himself. But Clayman needs to focus on using his power on Sophia until she comes out from inside the beast. There is only a little left, however the beast breaks free and almost puts an end to Cecilia. But Sophia manages to destroy the monster from the inside and comes out unharmed. Clayman runs to hug her and see if she is well. How beautiful of the lovebirds in love. Then Sophia says to stop with the mushiness and look for the magical primroses. Yoki and Cecilia run to get the flower and the magical ores, and they manage to find a lot of twilight primroses. They fill the bag, and Yoki wants to return to Minerva right away, but to leave at night is very dangerous. Yoki cannot stand waiting anymore, and Cecilia understands how he feels, but says that they need to hold themselves and have patience that everything will turn out right. Yoki understands, but at night when everyone is sleeping, he gets up quietly and leaves the room, then finds Cecilia, who hands him the twilight flowers and says that Sophia is in a heavy sleep, so it is fine for Yoki to go to Minerva. The protagonist wants to know how Cecilia knew that he was going to leave secretly. The priestess imagined that he would do that and asks Yoki to help the two, said that Yoki flies to Minerva to save the life of Till and Guy. He arrives at home and shouts for G.I.T.O. wake up, but the statue does not respond. Then Yoki begins to offend the beast until he shows a sign of life. Guy wakes up and wants to know how Till is. Yoki says that Sheik is taking good care of her and already gives the magical stones to Guy to eat and recover. He thinks that it will not help much, but Yoki insists and says that he needs to stay at Till's side. Otherwise, she will be sad and she needs to fight against her disease. Guy remembers her words and the magical ore takes effect, and he goes quickly to see how Till is. Guy arrives in her room and wakes the little one. Yoki still has to return to the other city where Cecilia is so that nobody suspects that he left secretly. Sheik is happy that the girl is well, and Guy thanks him for the help once again, like when he saved the two from Miller. Sheik cries with happiness until wakes up happy that the guardian divinity is much better. Guy consoles the girl and says that the nightmare ended. On the next day, Yoki is sleeping on Cecilia's lap and is exhausted. Cecilia says that he made too much effort in the fight and that this is his reward, a treat for him. On a rainy night, a suspicious group of 3 people use a magical book for something nefarious. On the other day, Yoki is bored when he was finally going to see Cecilia. The girl is busy and the street is full of stalls like a fair because of some special date. Yoki runs into Clayman on the street. On his day off, the man went to buy something for Sophia, since he gave nothing on the wedding anniversary of the two. Yoki offers help to choose the ideal present and grabs little cat ears, saying that it matches perfectly with made clothes and fits with Clayman's taste. But the Vice Master likes only the made clothes and not accessories. Yoki says that it is a good purchase. However, Clayman already bought what he needed. Yoki lets go of the little cat ears and looks at a cool coat, all black and very long, that comes with a helmet straight from the Power Rangers, something that an 8-year-old child would like to receive. And I too, by the way, and Yoki really thinks so, because he really wants the outfit. Yoki tries on the outfit together with a differentiated sword. He now longed for what his childish soul desired. Clayman did not like at all the choice of the friend, but Yoki is sure of it and asks Clayman to pass any job to him that he will fulfill all. Clayman arrives at the guild with Yoki and the receptionist thinking that he is a new Shikigami. The guy was mistaken for a pet? Oh, what sadness. Clayman asks to give problematic, accumulated jobs to this old acquaintance of his. The receptionist says that there are 4 rank A requests and asks which Super Sentai he wants. He asks for all at once, because the father is fierce. She asks his name, and the fool says that he is the magical swordsman of the Black Lightning. Clayman says just to register him quickly and forget what she saw. Then Yoki leaves for his jobs and ends up in a fight against a dragon. He dodges the monster and uses his lightning sword on him, frying the poor one. Yoki returns with the dragon's heart to the client, who thanks a lot and says that he will be able to save his daughter. The people are impressed with the strength of the Super Sentai. Clayman knows that Yoki has the ability for that, said that the proto goes out for his last job. At night, the bandits use the magical book to make some guards sleep. The group of 3 delinquents seem like children. The green-haired boss says that the target is at the back of the warehouse. They go there and find an honest worker. They came there to take all the load of the sir and will not do anything to him if he collaborates. Said that the Super Sentai finds the famous Phantom Thief Envy. He makes his dramatic entrance and says that no one will escape from the magical swordsman of the Black Lightning. He asks for everyone to surrender, but everyone is finding Yoki too weird. Envy does not accept that a braggart places himself in the middle of his ambitions and orders the henchmen to finish Yoki. They grab their weapons and think they are the guys. The beating breaks loose, but Yoki defends himself very well and summons his lightning to fry the delinquents. One falls to the ground and then goes the other. Envy also uses magic, but does not compare with the strength of Yoki, who advances with his wavy sword and defeats the Phantom Thief, who can stay calm that his sword is not sharp. The honest sir thanks for the help and says that he will be able to deliver the Valentine's Day chocolates to the citizens. Yoki did not even know that this event existed in this magical world. Then the Order of the Knights arrives to check what happened, and Raven and Duke know that the vigilante there is Yoki, who makes his little theater saying that he is not a suspect. But the elf does not think that, and Yoki says that he only detained the thieves who wanted to steal the chocolates and will leave the rest to the authorities. He says goodbye in the shadows, and Raven warns Duke that it is not necessary to go after him. Duke, as spokesperson of the commander, tells everyone that it is not necessary to investigate this person. Now they need to arrest the Phantom Thief Envy and his henchmen. Duke goes to take a look at the area, and Yoki is hidden listening to everything, from Duke being Raven's messenger to the subordinates. Duke knows that Yoki is there and says that he does not know how long he has been in this of being a magical swordsman, but it is better to stop with that soon, because after each silly idea like that, Yoki realizes the shame and becomes a big problem. Duke thought that he was being more careful when entering a human city, and it is better to look at himself in the mirror. Yoki takes off the helmet and says that this outfit is too cool. However, when he looks at himself in the mirror, he dies of shame for what he is seeing. After that, he receives the reward at the guild for having captured the bandits and asks who they are. Clayman says that they were rank B adventurers who found a strange book and out of nowhere went crazy and became criminals. They stole cocoa and chocolate, saying that they would ruin Valentine's Day. Yoki understands them wanting that. After all, he is single too. At Cecilia's mansion, the maids are working hard to make chocolates, so cannot break in any way a magical ore. So Til asks Sophia for help with the ingredient. The former adventurer breaks the stone with her hand in a single blow. Til thanks and claps. Even Mikana is there making an effort with the chocolate. She sees that Cecilia is making a lot, and that is because she will deliver chocolates to the children of the orphanage and to everyone who helps her. Mikana says that you have to deliver the chocolate to someone special of the heart, and Cecilia is ashamed to say who her special one is. Yoki wakes up and Guy comments that today is Valentine's Day, and Yoki is all happy with the date. Someone knocks on the door and he answers thinking that it is Cecilia, but it is Til who goes running to give chocolate with magical or filling to the guardian deity. He did not want it in the little mouth because he is ashamed of someone seeing, but Til insists and puts the chocolate in Guy's mouth. He found it very tasty, and Yoki goes to the guild, and Clayman arrives too, saying that in his box there is something incredible. He opens it and the box even shines very strong. That is because there are homemade chocolates that Sophia made for Clayman. He eats a little and feels the refined sweetness that fills his mouth. It is as if he were in paradise. Only his beloved woman, the best in the world, could do that. Yoki looks at the chocolate fixedly, and Clayman says that he will not share. Then the proto with envy leaves and says that Clayman can explode from eating so much chocolate. Yoki stops by Duke to vent, and out of nowhere the elf knight arrives to deliver chocolates to Duke. Yoki says that he can go get it. The elf offers with affection, and Duke does not know if he can really receive it. She says that Duke always helps with her work. Then Duke accepts gladly, and the elf becomes even happier. He says that she can come talk to him at any moment. Duke asks forgiveness for anything to Yoki, and he runs off dying of envy of Duke as well. Yoki goes to Raven, but even he is with happiness giving chocolate to him. There is not a friend of Yoki to help him in this loneliness without his love. On the street, there is a huge line destined to the people who want to deliver chocolates to the hero Yuga. There is a line for personal delivery too, and that makes Yoki sadder. It is not fair to be popular to the point of gaining so much chocolate like that. Then Mikana appears, and Yoki thinks that she will also enter the line, but Mikana does not think that she made a tasty chocolate to deliver to Yuga. She was going away. However, Yuga appears and asks forgiveness for the delay, because he wants to get Mikana's chocolate before everyone. She gets embarrassed and says that this year's also turned out strange, so she does not think it is tasty. For Yuga, it is alright, he wants it anyway. Mikana takes out something that looks more like a stone than chocolate. Yuga eats without fear and says that it is delicious. He says that he only feels that Valentine's Day begins when he receives the chocolate made by Mikana. Then the girls of the city appear wanting to give chocolate to Yuga and remove Yoki and the eternal friend from the way. Yoki goes to Cecilia's house and only wanted to see his beloved. But who answers him is Sheik and Celia. She says that Cecilia went to the city, then the boy collapses. So Celia offers her chocolates to Yoki, who says that he cannot accept from anyone who is not Cecilia. But the MILF Celia asks if there is a problem receiving chocolates from her. With that, Yoki accepts. And the moment of peace ends, because Duke arrives warning that Envy escaped from prison. Cut to Cecilia delivering chocolates to the orphans. A very calm moment of solidarity, which is interrupted by the bandits and their giant golem. Envy and the other two were deprived of the joy of Valentine's Day and will not let anyone be happy. Envy uses magic and sucks all the chocolates from the nearby people. The fools want to end aesthetic prejudice, where only those of good appearance receive chocolate. Very much a little child thing, but their plan is going well. Said that, Yuga tells him to stop with this senseless thing. Henchman 1 says that a very handsome guy who receives piles of chocolate will never understand their frustration. Envy says that guys like Yuga always make him into a fool, so he uses his golem to trample them. But Yuga saves himself with Mikana. Said that Yoki and his group arrive at the scene to help. The confusion is huge, and Yoki will attract the golem for the others to flee. Yoki presents himself at the top of the building and presents himself as a great hero. But the bandits do not want to know about him. Yoki says that he understands how they feel, since he could be doing the same thing out of envy of other couples. Duke says that that phrase only moves when one hears it once. After that, it becomes cheesy. Yoki scolds the bandits, saying that it is the height of stupidity to make this uproar out of anger because he did not receive chocolates. The criminals bet that Yoki also did not receive chocolate. But Yoki says that he did receive. The tense part is that it was from the mother-in-law. Mikana thinks that this is a sadness and Envy attacks him, but Yoki dodges and deals with the two henchmen. Envy uses his magical book. However, Yoki dodges the blows again and launches his wind ones. Yoki still has hope that until the end of the day, he will receive chocolates from a girl that he likes, and Cecilia hears that very well. Envy throws flames at Yoki and remembers his traumatizing past and says that receiving chocolate from someone that you do not like is a nuisance. However, for Yoki, it is not like that. As long as there is love, receiving chocolates will always be welcome, regardless of who gives it. Envy says that this is the biggest lie and throws Yoki far away. Then the golem sucks the remaining chocolates, including Cecilia's. Raven tries to destroy the creature, but Mikana says that she cannot waste the chocolates inside it. Said that Yoki gets pissed and shouts to return Cecilia's chocolate, and with lightning powers destroys the magical book, undoing the golem. Yuga saves Envy from a fall and realizes that he is actually a girl. She says that even some women hate Valentine's Day. That is because in the past she tried to give a chocolate to someone she liked and he rejected it, saying that he did not want something from a girl who looked like a boy. That traumatized Envy more than anything. Yuga says that it is all right, but she does not want to hear the handsome guy. Then Yuga says the same thing as Yoki before, but Envy now understands and falls in love with the hero. How can that be? There is nothing left for the beta Yoki. Then Cecilia thanks Yoki and gives a present to him. which makes the Prota very happy. At the sunset, Yoki is with his group, and Sheik says that he also received cookies from Cecilia, just like the others. Yoki opens it and sees that in his besides cookies, there's also a beautiful cake with a message of gratitude from Cecilia. His friends say that Yoki must be special. He was the only one who received the cake. That indeed leaves Yoki 100% happy. My good, this was the most random episode of the anime. But if you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, and activate the little bell to support. Do not forget to hype the video and see the description for more recaps. Thanks for the support, as always, and bye.